your personality right here. This is the expression of your personality. You gotta take care of that.
This device has changed my skin. It's an LED skin rejuvenation mask that provides salon-like treatments at home.
Gen Z, aging, and the problem with looking flawless. It's okay to age. Like, I'm gonna put this out there. It is okay to age. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm gonna let you know that it is okay that we're gonna grow older, that we're gonna look older, that we're gonna start looking like our age. Because the way things are happening now, it's like people don't want to look like their age. People are trying to look like half their age, and I don't know why. I don't think this is a problem that Gen Z started, but I think it's a problem that the Gen Z generation are consuming and using way more than other generations. Now, disclaimer, I'm aware that we all want to look good. I know we all want to look good. But in recent years, it seems like there's an extra emphasis on looking good 24/7 and not wanting to look over a day of your age, which I think is crazy. Like, literally, when you go online, you're just filled with people buying expensive face creams and people aging like old milk, and it's just like an overload of more products and surgeries to stop us from aging. Side note, I also know that the sun will be in and out, so I'm sorry guys, we're just going to have to work with it. So as you can tell from this title, I will be talking about aging, the obsession with trying not to age, skincare, and all that jazz that I think is really making us go a little bit delulu. I will be talking about where the obsession came from, the media's role in it, skincare, and men, and the idea of aging also. So let's actually try and break it down. Like, where did this obsession with aging even come from? So let's talk before the 21st century. That promoted the value of usefulness, where ageist messages started to form. Many industries targeted this new consumer base that endorsed pop culture and, in hindsight, flattered the younger generation, suggesting that they were cooler or superior to their parents and grandparents. This led to music such as rock and roll, young adult style films, and so many other materials for young people and young people in general. Like, I feel like Back to the Future is such a classic movie, which shows Marty McFly, this cool guy and flying cars, and his youth, which is glorified. And when we think about our teenage years or our 20s, maybe our 30s, definitely in your 20s, there's this idea that the 20s are the best days of your life because you're young and free, you have no bills, have no responsibility. And your 20s, you're free, you're young, and you won't be able to do the stuff you do in your 60s and your 70s because you're old and there's nothing for old people, which I don't believe. But there is definitely a glorification of being young in our society. Like, how many movies are there of being young again? A lot. In this article, America's Obsession with Staying Young, Dr. Dao Chin Kin says, in psychology, there is the concept of ideal versus the actual self. When there's a discrepancy between the ideal self and the actual self, it can cause some difficulties in how people feel about their identity. So if you really are consuming everything you're being sold, then it can, of course, have an effect on how you see yourself and messages about you. 100% it will affect you where you feel like you don't fit in society. And once people buy into this, the market will literally be able to capitalize on this. And then it's a never-ending cycle that's actually going to get worse. Even think Disney. Oh my gosh. I literally never clocked it until I was researching this. But aren't all the villains mostly elderly women in Disney Channel, in Disney princess movies? And aren't they portrayed as being angry because they're old and ugly? Literally, Snow White, the first Disney film. Yes, I know, it was inspired by Grimm Brothers, I know that. But the idea that beauty can make someone go insane, the queen and the mirror asking who's the most fairest, the most beautiful of them all, and then trying to kill Snow White because she's actually beautiful. Like, what are we doing here? Then we have Rapunzel. Like, this woman literally captured a baby and locked her away just so she could use her magic hair that would make her stay young forever. I could just wrap this up. I could just wrap up this video right now. Like, the fact that age is represented as something that can make someone go ugly and go to the most desperate measures to retain their youth is crazy. Cinderella, the evil stepmother, and Cinderella is so beautiful that everyone is jealous of her. And like, just imagine if we actually as kids internalize these messages that I clearly didn't realize until I was doing this video, what we are willing to do in our lives to try as I mentioned, retain beauty and retain youthness. And so now we're in this complex where we're being taught that we must be beautiful and we must do anything we can to escape growing older. Therefore, the market and literally the media and films are in this hopeless cycle where there is literally no way of escape. A 2016 study found that 96% of girls and 87% of boys had consumed Disney princess media. So even though both genders can interact with this, I do believe that girls could be more affected. But let me know if I'm wrong. I feel like women have been the main target when it comes to companies and media and to marketing, skincare and being young since before the end of time. I mean, look at these adverts from the 60s. Does your husband look younger than you? Who wants to look young? Look younger in 60 seconds. Dish raggedy hands? Make your hands look young again. Like, you see where I'm going with this. And so we fast forward now to the 21st century and it has gotten out of control. So let's talk about it. I do think that when it comes to men, skincare and trying to reduce bad aging is growing. This GQ article says skincare for men doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. What it should be instead is intentional and consistent. You can't just grab one of the best men's moisturizers, work on it every second Tuesday and expect results. And I find it so interesting how when it comes to men, sometimes it's all easy. Like, I could go into Superdrug right now, pick up a
facial wash for men, and you've got toner, you've got like a cleanser in it, you've got a moisturizer, all in one little tub. But no, for women, I gotta buy a separate toner, a separate cleanser, a separate moisturizer, maybe a serum.
and I'm not gonna lie, I do that.
I literally have a cleanser, toner, serum, and moisturizer for my skin.
So maybe I'm part of the problem. But anyway, all this stuff isn't cheap. This stuff isn't cheap. Skincare is very, very expensive. And when it just comes to men in the anti-aging industry, in the US, over 50% of men use facial skincare, which is a 68% increase from 2022. I do believe that when we think about men and age, there's this idea that yes, men can age, and when they do, they look kind of hot. You know, it's given like daddy type vibes, that type of thing. For example, we have Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Denzel Washington, men who have been allowed to freely age and have been glorified for it. Like, everyone loved Denzel Washington in The Gladiators. And then I saw on Twitter that apparently Steve Carell is now looking good as well. Like, I don't know. I do not know. But whether this is by skincare or surgery, it is definitely popular and a growing market. I'm sorry, Kris Jenner, she has to be spoken about because this woman is doing everything in her power to look young, and shout her out, it's working. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's working. This article by the FT is so funny. Would you pay $200,000 to look half your age? Because would you? If you had it, would you? The journalist writes, month before her 70th birthday, Kris Jenner turned 35 years old. At least that's how it appeared when the Kardashian matriarch unveiled a preternaturally youthful face in Instagram posts ahead of the bachelorette party for Lauren Sanchez earlier this year. There has been a revival of the facelift, says Nora Nugent, president of the British Association of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons. And this is interesting because the art of facelifting has literally evolved. People who you already thought looked young look younger. Like, what is going on? You have stars like Anne Hathaway, Lindsay Lohan, allegedly. Lindsay Lohan tried to deny it, but girl, please, like, we know you've done some surgery, and that's okay. That is okay. But the FT goes on to say successful surgeries have become a status symbol that beats any Birkin bag. Having access to the right surgeon who delivers flawless work signifies not just gobs of cash, but that you are part of the inner circle who are in the know. And Hockemeyer says that 1% are seeking out the homogenized look that plastic surgery provides for a sense of belonging. It's like AI in that regard. All forms of individuality are erased, and people who occupy positions of wealth and power must navigate cultural pressures that demand they look, act, and behave like other members of their social class. Why is it always related to politics? Please ask me. Why is it always related to politics? So now looking young is like some sort of currency, and so if you can afford it, you might as well spend so much money on trying to look young. Like, in the past, I do believe everyone was kind of hush-hush about what they did, what surgeries they had, where they got it done. But now, people are saying, yeah, I paid $200K for a facelift, and if you could afford it, you would do it, which to me is dangerous. I am not gonna lie. Because you have young people already doing surgery to look younger than they already are. For instance, I was a little surprised to hear that Huda from Love Island had gotten Botox, even though I think she's like 24 or 25. And when she said it, Amaya was like shocked. And I was like, I was shocked too. And then she was like, of course. But it's almost as if to be someone or to go somewhere, you have to get surgery. You have to get work done to try to look younger, to look fresh. As if you're a teenager again, even though some of these people are literally pushing 30 and 40 and 50 plus. And I think surgery is only half of the problem. Let's look at some clothes. Let's look at Skims, for instance. Skims is renowned for the ultimate body shapewear, promising sleek silhouettes and serious tummy control knickers. And the $3 billion empire has just released their seamless sculpt face wrap designed to give you a snatched and sharp jawline, reduce puffiness, and improve facial definition. The shapewear is inspired by liphymic drainage massages, and it comes in 2 colors that tightly wraps around your face and neck and fastened like a Velcro strap. Like, I don't know who thought of this. You can't make this up. The mask is designed to be worn in bed so that when you wake up, you have a really sculpted face. And I look at this and I'm just like, is this really necessary? But apparently it is, because the thing sold out. It launched literally 29th of July and it was sold out. Like, what? The product is made of collagen yarn, which is part of a fiber that is mixed with collagen peptides derived from fish or bovine sources that can have skin benefits. Didn't one of the Kardashians say that they use like snake sperm or like fish sperm or something for their face? I'm gonna research it and put it somewhere here. But what? And this wrap thing, it doesn't mean that you'd wake up with a snatched face like you would a waist trainer. Do we remember those waist trainer days? Oh my days. Everyone and their mom was wearing waist trainers. Not me though, but in the gym, to work, at parties, it was like everyone thought the way a waist trainer worked was that you just have it on and then you'll just immediately get this hourglass figure. That was a crazy time. That was literally a crazy time. Anyway, this is literally a market thing. It can't promise you that you'll get a snatched face. At most, it can probably reduce puffiness, but you're telling me that you're spending over £50 to reduce puffiness when all you can do is just drink some water or something and get early night sleep. Like, girl, please be for real. And it's called seamless sculpt, but I think that even plants in your mind an unhealthy and dangerous obsession that we have with facial perfection, and that women are expected to have this perfect face, which links to how society tries to tackle aging, which is a natural thing to all of us. And it's sort of representing that aging is something that needs to be hidden, and it's something that we need to try to fight against, and it's something that we must do, whether it's getting Botox or wearing this face wrap or spending an extortionate amount on skincare. It's something that we need to try and tackle before it ruins us. Do you remember the gua sha tool? Is that how you say it? The gua sha tool, which I think most women would have had in their first interaction to try to stop aging or to having clearer face or reducing puffiness or whatever you used it for. I bought it for myself and I didn't see no improvements. But anyway, they came in different colors and shapes, and it was cute. I'm not gonna lie, it was cute. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's basically something that gives you a contoured look without having to spend a lot of money for it. It originated from ancient Chinese medicine 700 years ago, and it helps to reduce blood circulation, energy flow, and lymphatic drainage to eliminate toxins. Made of jade or rose quartz, meant it reduced facial puffiness and elevated skin redness. And many people got their jade rollers, which was an added benefit to awaken up tired eyes. You'd basically put some oil on your face and some serum and just roll the tool around your face until you saw some improvements. To be honest, I think it would be better if you went to bed like a little bit earlier. Like, so many people use this tool and do like before and after pics, and I'm just sure they low-key just got surgery or something, because there is no way. A plastic surgeon did weigh in on this trend and said that the gua sha is a wonderful complementary practice to your regular skin treatment plan, but should not be considered a replacement for established facial rejuvenation or contouring procedures. We can honor the historical, cultural, and therapeutic significance of ancient treatments, methods like gua sha, while maintaining realistic expectations and embracing more modern and proven. These procedures are backed by clinical evidence and can provide more substantial and lasting results than gua sha. So you might get like a short-lived glow and slightly firmer skin from the circulation, but that doesn't mean you can ditch your anti-aging serums. And studies from the Journal of Dermatological Science suggest that sustained facial massages is necessary to improve circulation and skin elasticity for 5 to 10 minutes. Like, imagine waking up in the morning and you have to just sit and rub your face for 20 minutes to gain 2 hours of reduced puffiness. Like, who really has time? Here was 15-year-old me thinking that it would just work if I just did it purely 4 times a week for 2 minutes a night. Like, delete. But then again, you're young and you just consume everything that you believe will work. Like, have we heard of the Korean skincare, which makes your face look so glossy? I'm not gonna lie, I've been intrigued what this Korean skincare is. I'm not going to lie. According to a recent report by Straits Research, the Korean skincare market, which was valued at $8.3 billion in 2021, is set to skyrocket to $18.32 billion by 2030, and it's rapidly growing at a rate of 9.6%. Korean beauty products are the leading imported cosmetics in the US. The US accounted for 23.7% of the global K-beauty market in 2022, but this is nothing new. Korean skincare comes from the South Koreans, who started to make a homemade face powders made from ground rice and millet blush, which was made from safflower, and the ground mung beans were made into cleansers, and creams were produced using the juice of plants, and they experimented with more natural ingredients like bee venom, snail slime, and volcano ash.
Ew.
Literally, the hashtag Korean skincare tag currently has almost 5 billion views on TikTok. Like, girl, this is real. And according to recent data from the Korea Customs Service, K-beauty markets in the US in 2025 rose to 57% year over year, driven largely by skyrocketing demand for skincare first routines among American, Gen Z, and millennial consumers. The apparent difference is that compared to the Western world, Korean skincare focuses on preventing skin concerns instead of actually fighting it when it's there. So it's basically like, let me use this now so I won't look old in the future, instead of let me use this because I do look old. And this graph shows where the Korean skincare is most bought, which is in the US. And I'm not surprised that these main states, LA, New York, and Chicago, are basically already the main consumers, because they're already places that are pushing consumers to buy things in their state alone. But I think the main factor why it's increasing because it is apparently affordable, because it's made in Korea, where people in the West can benefit. And so you have beauty YouTubers basically trying them on, and you have TikTokers trying them on, debriefing their favorite products that we should try, and then people like us are gonna buy it, because why not? If you do buy it after watch this video, hope it works out for you. But also the thing is, young people in their teens, oh my gosh, and also people in their 20s and 30s, where wrinkles shouldn't even be a thing, are using it because they're scared that in the future they will look old. So they're trying to prevent it from happening now. And it's like, you're going to age. You are going to age. And what really baffles me is that if you actually use Korean skincare, you are going to age. Unless you literally pay to get surgery, I don't think any sort of skincare will stop you aging or will stop you getting wrinkles. And when simple creams don't work, people will just do anything. In the media, we have Cleopatra, who bathed in the milk of Asses, Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who smothered herself in a blood of virgins, and the former Indian Prime Minister Morarji Desai regularly drank his own urine and campaigned to get his voters to do the same so they could all stay young and fresh. Yeah, drank his own urine. Over the years, doctors have been successful in making drugs and creating techniques that actually do turn back the signs of aging and can routinely make people look 15 years younger. Anti-aging medicine has grown out of Quakery and into hard science. It has, as it were, come out of age. Let's look at Hollywood. For example, you have Cher, Julie Christie, Joan Collins, Elizabeth Taylor, Demi Moore, etc., etc., etc. And most recently, Kris Jenner, who is 70 but looks like she's about in her 30s. The ability to combat the aging process is something at a time when the population is in itself aging increasingly, and more than ever, we are obsessed with the cult of youth. This article says that Superdrug now offers Botox and fillers in some of their UK stores, and the number of women aged between 19 and 34 in America having Botox and fillers has risen by 41% since 2011. Research suggests that as many as 100,000 Botox injections are carried out each year in the UK. And according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, there is a procedure now called baby Botox, which is on the rise and has been increased by 20% since 2010 amongst 20 to 29-year-olds. The Australian National University says there is another societal factor at play. Trigger warning, this involves the pandemic. And in a post-COVID phase, sociologists noted that people were quitting their jobs, the so-called Great Resignation, and verified that we have changed our behaviors in relation to the pandemic, and this seemed to be related to anxiety. There was also an increase in death anxiety over the COVID pandemic, and with that comes an increased fear of aging. I think in particular, the Western world really do hold on to every ageist conception that I think subconsciously we have internalized. Many Western cultures tend to have more youth-centered society that place value in, I believe, young adults rather than older adults. This actually comes from Protestant values that tie an individual's worth to their ability to work and be an active member of society. And I think this is interesting when you consider that the world is slowly aging. Scientific literature suggests that we will see a massive growth in the older adult population. By 2060, demographers project that there will be 94.7 million adults in the US alone, almost 3 times the number of adults in the year 2000. To me, Western cultures and society embrace individualism, which prioritizes the well-being of the individual and looking after the self. Like, people are encouraged for a young age to know their passions, to pursue their passions, to focus on themselves rather than those around them, which can sometimes be detrimental to their family. Like, I remember having a diary when I was like 8, and it says, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I wrote whatever I wrote. On the way. It was like crazy that at 8, I knew what I wanted to be, and I wanted to like pursue to be this thing. And I'm halfway there. I'm basically halfway there. But that just drive that we put in our young people, which kind of can, I think, make it seem like there's not a place for older people in our society anymore, because it's about being young and it's about pursuing your dreams, and older people have supposedly already pursued their dreams. There is an emphasis on independence that can lead to feelings of isolation among the elderly as younger members focus on raising their own families and achieving personal and professional goals. It is considered prescriptive and overly focused on individual health status. The successful aging model is thought to pose impossible standards and expectations for older people's absence of disease and decline. Like, it's no secret that older people start to rely on retirement communities and nursing home for long-term care. And as of 2024, more than 1.4 million people in the United States live in Medicare and medical certified nursing homes. When you think of older cultures and communities, it seems that there's a higher value of aging and elder community. It's reported that in 2021, approximately 24% of Asian Americans lived in multi-generational households in the US, compared to only 13% of Caucasian households. And these homes benefited from increased emotional support, shared expenses, and a more even distribution of caregiving responsibilities. This is actually also similar to Hispanic cultures, where many adults are optimistic about aging, with apparently 70% of participants stating that they feel life is more meaningful at 50. Furthermore, 57% believe that 50 is still young, proving that age is indeed just a number. We are not going to do that Aaliyah song. Why did that Aaliyah song just pop into my head? Age is not just a number in some circumstances. Let me make that clear. Age is not just a number in some circumstances. Now, I am not saying that every person that lives in the Eastern world loves to look after older people. That is not what I'm saying at all, because I'm sure that is not the case. And to back that up, it was actually reported that Cambodia has a national aging policy from 2017 to 2030, which recognizes that with pressures of caregiving mounted on younger family members, they may feel trapped in the role of caregiver and tend to neglect or even abuse older people. This article, called Combating Ageism in the Western Pacific Region, says, for years there's been an assumption that modernization brings with it a reduction in the status of older people, especially in relation to urbanization, education, economics, and health technologies. Following the invention of print, the production of new technologies, and the migration of younger generations to urban areas, the status of older people has declined. Older adults have lost both familial and economic roles, effectively rendering them obsolete in modern times. Which is interesting when we think about mobility, and I think that as our world continues to progress to a society that urges the need of doing stuff and activity and being proactive to succeed, that has a limited factor on aging and those who people would consider using freedom passes and those who are retired, for instance. And so even though many of us respect our elders, I feel like it's easy for cultures to have negative views of mental and physical traits of older people. Botox, which is injected below the skin to even out the wrinkles, is clearly the thing. Hyaluronic acid fillers such as Hydroform and Restylane have been shown in clinical trials to have far lower risk of allergy than Botox. And patients' own fat can be transferred to parts of the face. Dr. Eileen Bradbury, a consultant psychologist from Cheshire, advised people who have plastic surgery, and she said that she's seen more and more people become addicted to looking young and has even invented a term for it, perma-youth. There can be an element of addiction. The more they do it, the more they have to do it, and it feeds on itself. Perma-youth is the inability to face aging, and you're constantly trying to restore the difference between how you look and how you feel you should look. I'm sure we've all seen the trend where celebrities are going through this buccal fat removal to achieve a more sculpted and defined structure. And if this is not another way to look young, I don't know what is, I'm not gonna lie. Google LOL reported that in 2022, the American Surgery of Plastic Surgeons recorded 4,543 procedures, making it a less frequent but growing facial surgery. Market analysts project continued growth, with the global market expected to reach 158 million by 2030. Let's take Brian Johnson, for example, an entrepreneur who is in love with the idea of looking young again, to the point where he is on the path to spending over $2 million this year alone on a host of medical inventions and tests aimed at helping him be younger. He regularly sees a team of 30 doctors for very intense tests for what they have named Project Blueprint, according to Bloomberg. And apparently he has the heart of a 37-year-old, the skin of a 28-year-old, and the lung capacity of an 18-year-old, according to the tests his doctors have performed. As you can imagine, has a strict regimen diet where he's on this quest. And on the Kardashians show, he revealed that he takes 2 dozen supplements and other medicines at 5 a.m. each day. He consumes 1,977 vegan calories a day and exercises for an hour and will sometimes go out using blue light evasive glasses. And by the way, I also want to add that these doctors aren't cheap, by the way. For some of them, they charge up to $1,000 an hour. $1,000 to try and beat nature. The obsession is crazy. And Johnson, he knows it. He said to Bloomberg, if you say that you want to live forever or defeat aging, that's bad. It's a rich person kind of thing. It's more of akin to a professional sport. It's entertainment. It has virtues of establishing standards and protocols. It benefits everyone in a systemic way. It's a rich person thing. So if you ain't got $1,000 to spend every hour on a doctor, don't even do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just get the skincare, get the toner, get the serum, get the moisturizer, and you'll be good. You'll be good. I think it is dangerous, and with more brands choosing to rebrand for a more expensive, bougie look, it will definitely affect those who are trying to fit into this world. Those who already exist in this world will continue to have surgeries, try to beat nature, and do everything in their power to prove that indeed money doesn't buy happiness. It in fact buys age. But that is all from me, Serena the journalist. What do you think about the obsession with aging? Do you think it's not that deep, even though it is? Do you think that we're just trying to live forever, which we shouldn't be doing? What do you think? What are your views? And what skincare do you use if you do use skincare? I hope you use skincare. But that is all from me.
Stay safe, drink your water, wash your face, you don't need to do surgery. You look good no matter how old you are.
And if you've gotten all the way to this bit, please do like, comment your views, and subscribe. And I will see you guys again, hopefully very soon.